Hello. Hi. So, I got nothing this morning. I was going to talk about traffic. I was going to talk about school. I don't know. Here's something. This is our first week back from spring break, like I stated earlier in the week. And I have bus duty, which essentially means for the first 20 minutes that the kids are at school, from 8 o'clock to 8:20, they're not allowed in the classrooms. They have to go either to the cafeteria for breakfast or to the gym and wait with their classes until 8:20 when they can go to the classroom. I don't know why. I don't get it. Why not just have the day start at 8:20 instead of 8, and then they can come in? I guess it's to give the kids that are eating breakfast time to do that. Who knows? Anyway, I have bus duty, which means I have to be in the gym with the kids that are in there to make sure that nothing goes terribly awry. So be it. You know, it's okay. I've tried something new this week that I've never done before. I stand right by the door when the kids come in and I say hello, good morning, to each and every one of them. In the past, I've just kind of stood in the center of the gym and spun in a circle to watch pretty much everything that's going on. And then I spot solve based on what I see. But I found, and maybe it's just because they're coming back from spring break and they're exhausted, like I am, 3 days in, I am tired. I am not used to this routine again yet. Again, not used to it right now. It's taking some time to get back. Or maybe it's because what I'm doing is setting their day off on a positive note. On Monday, all I did was say some variation of hello or good morning. Said it was nice to see them and thanked them for coming to school that day. Kind of stole it from an episode of the Magic School Bus where they try to fully automate the school with computers. It's a good one. You should check it out. And then yesterday, I didn't force them, but I offered every kid that walked through either a high five or a fist bump. And again, saying some variation of hello or good morning. And it seemed to be good. I had some kids who ignored you because they didn't know you, like some of the younger kids that haven't really met me or don't see me around during the day. They're kind of wary, the kindergarten and first graders. And then some of the 5th or 6th graders are too cool to do a high five or a fist bump to a teacher. But as much as I am an authority figure, I want to connect with the kids as well on a fun level. As a teacher, I feel that it's my job to help them grow not only academically, but also in maturity and socially. And speaking to them and spending time with them is one way to do that. And showing them how to appropriately greet somebody. Even a couple of them gave me handshakes, which was nice. But giving them the chance to see that an adult is willing to greet them and say hello to them and give them a few seconds of their time in the morning can speak volumes. And I think adults, myself included, we don't do that often enough. Sometimes we view these kids as our job, whether we want to or not. But that's not the reason we got into teaching. And Lord knows it's not for the money. So the only other real explanation is that we either, one, love to spread knowledge, which I do, absolutely love to learn, love to share what I've learned. And who better to do that with than a bunch of 10-year-olds that can't do anything else about it. But the other part is to connect and make a difference in these kids' lives. And I want to try to do that, but it's not always easiest. There are often time constraints and legal issues. You can't get too close to a kid or they might sue you for harassment. And that's what's unfortunate about it. So a lot of adults, especially teachers, I see, separate themselves and look at it strictly as a profession. They're an authority figure. Their job is to convey information and have the kids regurgitate that information. And there's part of teaching that is that. Okay? We are expected to help kids know things and repeat it back. But we also want them to retain it, and we also want them to realize that we are there to help them and not just to teach them, to talk at them, but talk with them. And so that's what I wanted to do this week, is kind of make an effort, more of an effort anyway, to let them feel valued. Like, I recognized that they were there, and I appreciated the fact that they were there and walked through the door that day. So I'm going to do that again this morning. I'm going to stand at the door. I'm going to greet every child. Maybe I'll vary it up. Maybe I'll do the same thing I did the last couple days. Who knows? I like to wing it. I don't plan these things, because the second you start planning it and it goes wrong, you feel as though you failed. And I don't like to know or feel that I failed. I have a board or a page of Thomas Edison quotes hanging in my classroom. And one of them is, of course, the famous, I have not failed, I've simply found a couple thousand ways not to make it work. Talking about his light bulb, or his incandescent lamp. And I like that quote, but I feel like it's overused. But he had a lot of other ones. One of my favorites is that opportunity is missed by most because it's dressed in overalls and looks a lot like work. And I love that quote because it speaks to what I am facing in my challenges with these kids in these last 2 school years. This current generation of kids is just not used to working, specifically in the community that I teach in. Okay, because the example they see, for the most part, is adults who don't work. It is a community of people who feel as though welfare or food stamps or any variation of those things can provide what they need, and they don't want to do much beyond that. And I can't say that that's true for everybody in the community, because I have kids who clearly talk to me about their parents' jobs and whatnot. But the other part of it is, a lot of these parents work nights, and so all their kids see them doing during the day is sleeping. So that's the mindset they get in. Oh, well, I'm at school working while mom and dad are at home sleeping. They don't get that they've put in an 8-hour workday overnight. So they don't see the example of somebody putting in work to something. And so the quote saying opportunity is missed, well, if you aren't ever used to working for something, however small it is, then you're not going to want to work for anything else, whether you want it or not. A couple years ago, I had a student who wanted to join the basketball team at school, but they had to be eligible. They had to have the grades to be on the team, or at least to play. They could be on the team, but they couldn't play if they didn't have good grades, A's and B's, maybe even C's. And rather than working to get his scores up to that level, he just quit the team. Well, maybe he really wanted to play basketball, but he didn't want it bad enough. He missed the opportunity because there was work involved, and he wasn't used to doing that. He hadn't been pushed enough, and it wasn't made valued enough by the adults that had influenced him up to that point, that hard work is the only way to truly get what you want. Like I said yesterday afternoon, you can't always get what you want. It's the song, the quote from the song. But if you try, then you'll get what you need. Well, I think that's even pushing it a little bit. I think you will always have what you need. Okay? Until the day you die and you no longer have air coming into your lungs and blood pumping through your body, then you no longer have what you need. But if you try and try hard, that's when you start to get the things that you want. So how this conversation or this talk went from me having bus duty in the morning to methods to work hard, I don't know. I mean, I can look back at the last 10 minutes and see where it led. But the point is, I'm working with kids who need some influence, some motivation, some pressure even, to see the value of hard work. And it's hard to do that with subject matter, okay? You get an F on your test, you got an F on your test. Only the kids that truly want to get an A will actually get an A. Because as I've told them time and time again, I don't give grades, they earn grades. I just mark the number correct out of the number total, and that's on them. Now, I can give them the tools and procedures and ways to find the answers, whether it's reading a passage and dissecting it and picking out a theme or a main idea in reading, or adding a couple of numbers or multiplying a couple of numbers in math. I can give them those methods, but what I cannot do is motivate them to remember those methods and to put them in place when they're necessary. That's on them. I can teach them how to do it, but I cannot tell them when or force them to do it when it's necessary. It's not my job. My job is to give them the strategies, not to help them use them when the time comes. That may sound kind of crass, but that's how I view it. My job as a teacher is to teach the methods and the applications for these skills, but when it comes time to actually apply them, the kids have to reach in and find them themselves and use those tools and tricks and hints and helps in their own way. And if they choose not to do that, then there's nothing more I can do. I can only help people that want to help themselves. So, I need to find another way to motivate them. I need to find something they do value, something they do want, beyond just wanting it, but striving for it and craving it. And then I can show them the value of hard work. I can make it difficult to achieve that thing, and they will see how much better it is when they've actually gotten it, when they've been rewarded for their efforts. That's all I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to make connections with them on a personal level in order to push them to work harder on a societal level. There's been a common theme in a lot of these talks lately, and that's kind of moving from childhood to adulthood and fitting into society and being a beneficial member of that society. That's not really my intention to talk about those things all the time, but it's just kind of where things go. And I guess that's subconsciously where my head is at, is how do I help create or help foster these young people that are eventually going to be in charge of my future. That's my responsibility, because it's a profession I chose. It is my job now to take these kids that I am teaching and give them the tools to teach others and to grow up to be respectable,